China's military is in turmoil. 39 generals have just been dismissed in a sweeping purge. Who's stepping in to take control from Xi Jinping? Today we break down the storm sweeping through China's armed forces and what it means for the future of the regime. Hi, welcome back to Final War with Katherine Hu. When it comes to the Chinese communist regime, control of the military is the ultimate test of power. And in June 2025, amid a blistering summer, a political earthquake in Beijing spilled right into China's armed forces. In a surprising move, Zhang Youxia, vice chairman of China's Central Military Commission, convened a high-level meeting without Xi Jinping. His message: the military is under new management. From Beijing's Zhongnanhai to battlefields in the Middle East, the shockwaves reveal a clear truth. The power structure within the Chinese Communist Party is breaking apart. And whoever controls the military might just decide who survives the fallout. Let's start with what's happening inside the PLA itself. According to whistleblower Zhao Lanjian, a former Chinese state media insider, on June 19th, a political purge hit China's top military ranks. A total of 39 senior officers at or above the rank of general were removed in one day, including 3 full generals. Among those taken down, the top commander of the Navy, the top commander of the Central Theater Command, the second in command of the Southern Theater Command. Sun Bin, chief auditor of the Central Military Commission, was also detained that afternoon. Navy Audit Chief Cheng Dongfang was immediately removed. Let's break down who these people are. The Navy's top commander is believed to be Admiral Hu Zhongming, the current head of China's naval forces. A native of Qingdao in Shandong province, Hu Zhongming has spent his entire career in the Navy. His rise through the ranks appears to be closely tied to Miao Hua, the former head of the PLA's Political Work Department, who has already been purged. The identity of the Central Theater Command's top commander is somewhat murky and hasn't been confirmed. However, many believe it refers to General Wang Qiang, the former head of the Northern Theater Command. Wang was reportedly reassigned to lead the Central Theater Command in August 2024. Though notably, the Chinese government has never publicly acknowledged this transfer, raising serious questions. Originally from Sichuan, Wang has spent most of his career in the Air Force and was promoted to full general in September 2022. His rapid rise is widely seen as the result of strong backing from Shu Qiliang, the former vice chairman of the Central Military Commission. The second in command in the Southern Theater Command is believed to be Wang Wenquan, the political commissar of the region. A career army officer, Wang was appointed to his current post in December 2023 and was promoted to full general by Xi Jinping himself. Notably, his entire rise through the ranks has taken place under Xi's leadership, with nearly all his key promotions occurring after Xi came to power in 2012. It's not hard to see the pattern. All 3 of the purged generals were hand-picked members of Xi Jinping's military inner circle, key figures in the elite command structure he personally built. After Xi began losing his grip on power, he attempted several counterattacks through his loyalists, including Shu Qiliang, Miao Hua, and He Weidong. But each effort failed. The purge of these 3 generals sends a powerful message. Xi's control over the military is unraveling, and it's far from over. 2 more waves of purges are reportedly coming. targeting more than 100 additional high-ranking officers. The objective is clear: to completely dismantle the military ecosystem Xi spent years constructing. And riding alongside this sweeping purge is something even bigger: a full-blown military reform storm inside the Chinese Communist Party. Since early June, Zhang Youxia, the vice chairman of China's Central Military Commission, has been leading what insiders describe as a high-stakes, 10-day power summit, an expanded Central Military Commission (CMC) meeting that brought together the real power players across China's military branches. This wasn't your standard top-down briefing. It was a closed-door command restructuring session where attendance wasn't optional. It was mandatory for every core leader across the services. But one group was conspicuously and tellingly absent: the commanders of China's 5 theater commands. That's no oversight. It's a warning shot. You see, the theater command system was the signature reform of Xi Jinping's military modernization campaign, launched in 2015. It was part of his grand vision, a China dream coupled with a strong military dream to re-engineer the People's Liberation Army into a force capable of projecting power across the Pacific and eventually confronting the US military head-on. To do this, Xi broke up the army-heavy structure that had dominated the PLA for decades. He cut 7 military regions down to 5 joint theater commands, elevated the roles of the Navy and Air Force, and created 2 powerful new forces: the Rocket Force and the Strategic Support Force. On paper, this was all about streamlined command and joint operations. But in practice, Xi had 2 primary objectives. 1, build a military command structure personally loyal to him. 2, prepare for a high-stakes Taiwan conflict with the goal of a forced reunification. This was Xi's shift from "the party controls the gun" to "Xi controls the gun." So what did all that reform buy him? Not much. In fact, the real-world results have been underwhelming, if not outright chaotic. The 5 theater commands have failed to function as effective combat units. They've become inefficient bureaucracies, rubber-stamping orders without operational teeth. Worse yet, Xi dismantled the 4 legacy pillars of the PLA: the General Staff, Political, Logistics, and Armaments departments, and replaced them with a sprawling network of 15 directly managed CMC departments. The outcome: a bloated command system with overlapping responsibilities, competing authorities, and a chain of command so tangled it's been compared to a military stew. In short, the PLA's central nervous system under Xi's reforms has become confused, fragmented, and politically paralyzed. And that's exactly what Zhang Youxia now seems poised to unwind. At the heart of Zhang Youxia's 10-day CMC summit was a bold and unmistakable mission: dismantle Xi Jinping's theater command system, restore the 7 former military regions, and rebuild the 4 traditional general departments that once served as the PLA's operational backbone. This wasn't just a structural adjustment. It was a direct repudiation of Xi's entire military reform legacy. Inside the PLA, there's already quiet consensus. The theater command model isn't a functional warfighting structure. It's a political constraint. Real command and control, officers say, depends on the old 4-department system, not Xi's fragmented bureaucracy. In a sharp reversal of Xi's demand for absolute political loyalty, the new emphasis is now on absolute operational efficiency. Even more surprising, Zhang's meeting featured something rarely seen in China's military: open calls for input. Senior and retired officers were invited to speak candidly about promotions, personnel, and organizational design. Some even proposed a new group notification system, where lower-ranking officers could formally submit feedback, a proto-democratic mechanism inside one of the world's most opaque military institutions. Another notable shift? The quiet end of spouse politics, the behind-the-scenes influence of political families, exemplified by Peng Liyuan, Xi's wife. Alongside this, CMC personnel advisors loyal to Xi were removed, signaling a broader rollback of Xi-era networks. Now let's be clear, Zhang Youxia doesn't have the legal authority to make these sweeping changes on his own. As vice chairman of the CMC, he cannot unilaterally abolish the theater system or resurrect the old command structure. Moves of this magnitude require direct approval from the true power center of the regime. And that's the point. It didn't come from Xi. The only scenario in which Zhang could act this boldly is one where Xi Jinping has already lost real control. So what does this mean for the political future of China? During the meeting, Zhang Youxia made an announcement. He is now acting as the de facto chairman of the Central Military Commission. He told attendees, "I am personally overseeing the work of the Central Military Commission. I'm acting as chairman. Any individual or group who disobeys the new leadership will be severely punished. No exceptions." This wasn't just an internal notice. It was a power proclamation. Xi Jinping may still hold the CMC title, but only on paper. In reality, he's a puppet in a well-rehearsed political drama. So what's next? Multiple sources say China may move toward a three-pronged leadership structure. Wang Yang as Party General Secretary, Hu Chunhua as Premier, Zhang Youxia as head of the military. This isn't a democratic separation of powers, but it could open the door to reforms, perhaps even the nationalization of China's military, ending its role as the party's armed wing. Zhang Youxia may only be a transitional figure, but he's already reshaping history. And he may have one final mission ahead. And his next move may well be Xi Jinping's worst nightmare. There's division inside the CCP on how to handle Xi. Moderates, especially from the Communist Youth League faction, want to let him retire gracefully for health reasons to preserve regime stability. But Zhang Youxia sees things differently. He's already taken down Xi's military allies. And in the brutal zero-sum politics of the PLA, leaving your enemy breathing is a dangerous risk. Insiders say Zhang plans to continue his purge and personally hold Xi accountable. By retaining control of the military himself, Zhang ensures that no one stops him from finishing the job. Will Xi be allowed a dignified exit? No one knows. But what we do know is this. Between the re-examination of former Premier Li Keqiang's death, the full-scale military overhaul, and the death of Xu Qiliang, it's clear the reckoning has already begun. At its core, this isn't just a military shakeup. It's a power redistribution. Military authority is shifting from Xi Jinping's personal grip back to the CCP apparatus. Behind the scenes, Hu Jintao's crisis management team seems to be steering the ship again, putting Xi on display, but stripping him of real influence. And internationally, we're seeing the consequences. China's retreat from the Middle East isn't just a choice. It's a necessity. The PLA simply can't support overseas ambitions anymore. Internal fractures, global weakness, both are accelerating. The seismic cracks inside the Chinese regime are only widening. And this political earthquake? It's just getting started. Get the real story behind the CCP's shifting power games and see where US-China relations are headed next. Support the vision of a new China without communism. Subscribe now and join us in bringing the truth to light.